Have you ever noticed a pattern of being basically caught in a loop? You end up doing the same thing over and over again. You talk about the same thing over and over again. And I I understand how we get into that mode. And I mean, right off the bat, I mean, if it's something that you've experienced, comment in the comments below. I'd like to kind of do like or maybe I'll even put a poll up on this video. But it, I've seen this, I see this pattern a lot, and I've experienced it myself, where you get caught up, like talking about the same thing and just rehashing the same thing over and over and over and over again. I get that sometimes that you need to do that, right? It's like, oh my God, there's a problem, and you're trying to work it out in your head. So it's like you just keep, oh, the sky is blue. Oh, the sky is blue. Oh, the sky is blue. And it's like, okay, so what's the next action item? What do you do next? Recognize what your issue is, but then what's the way forward? You can't just keep going in this infinite do loop, which is a programming term, to where you get, if you tell it to do something, but there's no way out of the loop, it'll just keep going, over and over again and without ever stopping. And I think we get caught up in that too. You get caught up in following the same patterns, following the same routine, talking about the same thing, saying the same thing over and over again. But it's important to recognize that and say, okay, enough is enough. It's time to look at things differently, to try something different. Because otherwise it's just going to be the same thing. You can talk about the problem, but if you don't focus on any solutions, you're not going to get anywhere. And it's really weird, because like I said, I remember being in that mode. I remember being caught up in that, to where, you just keep going over and over. If you find yourself in that mode, if you find yourself having that problem, try to stop yourself. Try to say, okay, what am I going to do different? What can I change? For instance, because there's a couple people who have been dealing with this recently, to where they're just stuck being connected with their ex. And you have to recognize what is real. After you've said it like 100 times, believe in yourself that something, that there's something there. If you keep asking the same question of why, well, there's a problem there. And if you don't want to believe that the person has a personality disorder, that's fine. But it still doesn't negate the fact that there's a problem there. If you feel confused about your situation, it's a problem. You have to take charge of your own life. You have to say, okay, this isn't right. This situation over here just isn't working. And no matter how much you want it to work, no matter how much you want whatever illusion you have in your head to be real, it's not real. And focusing energy on that, focusing your attention on something that's never going to happen, is a waste of your time. It's just, I hate it when I see people stuck in that loop, when they're just like, they just can't seem to get out. I would say, think back to a time when you didn't feel this way. I mean, seriously, look back at it. And if you always are basically feeling that same level of confusion or whatever, and you roll it back, and it's like, oh, well, this relationship, I have that, and the one before that, I had that, And then I had that with my siblings, and I had that with my parents. And, if I look back on it, one grandparent on so-and-so's side of the family was the only one that I ever felt truly loved by or felt peace by. Take a broad look at your situation and go, oh, crap. And if you look at that and that's the scenario, then you owe it to yourself to work on yourself, to figure out what happened in the past, because if you don't, you're just going to repeat it. You'll find a different version of the same problem over and over again until you basically resolve it. It's almost like a test. It's like the universe, God, is testing you to see if you're going to recognize that there's a problem and do something different. So I challenge you today, do something different. Put an interrupt in that do loop. Give yourself an exit out of it. Think about it whenever you start getting caught up in that again, because you will. I mean, it's just like, if that's a pattern, if that's one of your own personal patterns, more than likely it's going to take some time and some iterative steps to be able to break through that. So on that, we've got a few more days until this 2019 is over. That's insane. And then we'll be starting a new decade. That's insane too. Anyways, if you're struggling with this, I'd like to, hear the solutions you're using to try to break free from this in the comments below. And on that, I'll chat with you on the next video. Take care. Bye.